President Samia. Africa's Broadcasters Convention kicks off in Zanzibar. Good evening, I am Kanki Mwegomole. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and X pages at TBC Online. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has been conferred an honorary doctorate of philosophy by Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi earlier today in recognition of her outstanding efforts in education, health and strengthening bilateral relations between Tanzania and India. Here is a report by Bakari Msuya, read by Faidha Ngaga.
Speaking after receiving the honorary doctorate, President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan said she dedicates her first foreign honorary doctorate to a girl child living in the village to realize that with dedication and hard work, she can achieve anything in her life.
Today, you gave me an opportunity to reflect. The flashback took me to my tiny coastal village at Kizimkazi in the islands of Unguja, Zanzibar, where I was born and raised. I reflected on my childhood as a girl child in a predominantly traditional African and Muslim community. A daughter born by a housewife and fathered by a teacher. Had little chance and no hope of becoming a president of Tanzania, especially given my educational journey where I studied higher education while working.
Furthermore, President Dr. Samia has acknowledged the contribution from all people, including her family, brothers, friends, and leaders of the Revolutionary Party. President Dr. Samia becomes the first woman and the second leader to be awarded the degree by the university, the other being the late father of the nation, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, who was awarded in 1985.
In related news, President Samia Suluhu Hassan calls on Indian investors to come to Tanzania, promising a business-friendly environment and progressive economic reforms. The head of state made the call in an address to leading Indian investors at the Tanzania-India Business and Investment Forum in the capital, New Delhi, on the second day of a third-day state visit to India.
We've changed our National Investment Code to equally prioritize new investors as well as existing investors who wish to expand their business. Second, we have streamlined our regulations and made it easy to comply. Third, we have resolved to use technological solutions which allow investors to register business and receive incentive approvals online prior to coming to Tanzania.
The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, calls on public service broadcasters in the Southern Africa Development Community region, SADC, to be creative in informing the public and match with the global technological advancement. President Dr. Mwinyi made the call in Zanzibar while opening the annual Southern Africa Broadcasting Association Conference, SABA, insisting more investments should be made in the public corporations to match with the changes of science and technology globally. Here's the report by Swaumu Mavura, read by Ted Mparanyanga.
The 30th Annual General Meeting of the Southern Africa Broadcasting Association, SABA, brings together the heads of the Southern Africa Broadcasting Association, stakeholders and media experts from the SADC region.
Tulianza kama vyombo vya utangazaji vya umma vilivyo kusini mwa Afrika, lakini Mheshimiwa Rais.
Initially, we started our operations as a union of public broadcasters of Southern African countries. However, currently, we have extended our memberships. Our daily undertakings are not just limited to board meetings. They also include conferences and special meetings for knowledge exchange and capacity building. All these aim to improve our operations.
We are a very important element in our business because we are trying to make sure that information dissemination within the region and the broader Africa is handled in a fashion that will make sure that we tell authentic African stories.
The media industry is an important pillar in the Africa's economic growth and for nurturing African traditions and culture.
I urge all of our participants of this summit to make sure that all the content prepared by our public media target to build our society in such a way that it will be self-aware and proud of their African heritage.
The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, is the official guest of honor.
This gathering of leaders and experts from the broadcasting community from the Southern African countries should be the beginning of operational changes of our public broadcasting organizations. You should all remember that you have the responsibility of ensuring sustainability of the public broadcasters in this region.
Furthermore, he emphasizes in increasing creativity, match up with technological advances.
I urge you to continue to inform, educate, and entertain through radio, TV, and social media. You should continue to cooperate and exchange skills and knowledge for the benefit of the citizens.
Tanzania is expected to host the World Bank's 20th International Mid-Term Review Conference, which will be held in Zanzibar from December the 6th to the 8th, 2023, involving more than 2,590 delegates from about 100 countries in the world. The announcement was made in Marrakech, Morocco, when the Minister of State Office of the President, Finance and Planning, Zanzibar, Saada Mkuya, met and held talks with the Vice President of the World Bank in charge of the International Development Association, Ida Akihiko Nishio, on the sidelines of the annual World Bank and the International Monetary Fund annual meetings. Here are more details.
Dr. Saada Mkuya, who leads the Tanzanian delegation to the meeting on behalf of the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, says the meeting is important in discussing financial opportunities and challenges and tackling poverty. On the other hand, the Vice President of the International Monetary Fund in charge of IDA, responsible for developing and managing policies and procedures for World Bank development financing, Akihiko Nishio, praises Tanzania for the great strides that has made in development, insisting the meeting will be an opportunity for other countries to learn. The meeting will be attended for the first time by the President of the World Bank, Ajay Banga, senior leaders of the World Bank, representatives of the IDA beneficiary countries, as well as donors contributing funds to IDA.
Minister of Constitution and Legal Affairs, Dr. Pindi Chana, says the government is ready to receive and act on all recommendations from all stakeholders in the legal field on the death penalty. She made the assurance in Dar es Salaam while opening the meeting to mark the World Day Against the Death Penalty, which is the day to advocate for the abolition of the death penalty and to raise awareness and the conditions and the circumstances which affect prisoners with death sentences. Tanessa Limo was there and has prepared the following report.
As today the world marks the World Day Against Death Penalty, the Minister of Constitution and Legal Affairs, Ambassador Dr. Pindi Chana, joins the Tanganyika Law Society in a discussion on whether or not to abolish death penalty in Tanzania. And here she says, the government continues to receive recommendations and proposals from various stakeholders in the legal sector.
Tanzania pamoja na kuwa na adhabu ya kifo ambayo ipo kwa mujibu wa sheria.
Although Tanzania has the sentence of death penalty, which is there according to the law, but the government still values and protects the life of each Tanzanian. And that is why those who have been sentenced to a death penalty have not been punished in a long while. I want to assure you that this sixth phase of the government, led by our President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, has opened doors to listen to the opinions presented and implemented.
Wazi kusikiliza maoni yoyote yanayowasilishwa na kufanyiwa kazi.
In the discussion, the TLS President Harut Sungusia proposes the government to put in place an alternative punishment to the death penalty.
Tunapendekeza pia kuwe na adhabu mbadala.
We propose that there should be an alternative sentence instead of directly killing the accused because later on he or she can appeal and win the case. Why shouldn't we have a center specifically for such people, where we could put them in a cell and they would do productive activities?
Kifungo ambacho kitakuwa ni kifungo mahususi na hao watu wakae kwenye gereza ambalo watakuwa nazalisha mali.
European Union Ambassador to Tanzania Christine Grau says some social, religious and cultural norms provide justification on death penalty, but urges the legal stakeholders not be confined by that and let legal matters be dynamic. Furthermore, the ambassador says the EU assures her union support to whatever will be concluded in the discussion.
We must all hold this dear. It's a common, unprecedented achievement of human civilization at a time when it is challenged by some international actors. Social, cultural, and religious norms are often invoked to provide justifications for the death penalty, generating political difficulties in bringing about change. But we should not be stuck here. The international system and body of international law is dynamic and in constant evolution.
The debate was attended by stakeholders from various countries, including ambassadors from Belgium, Ireland, Zambia, as well as the European Union. Tanessa Limo, TBC News.
Awareness of young girls in participating in various issues related to science and technology is increasing. Various stakeholders have continued to encourage the participation of girls in science and technology. The call has been made by the assistant lecturer at Tumaini University, Dar es Salaam College, Tudako, Rachel Yusuf, who insisted that there's a great need to motivate girls to participate in science and technology so as to increase the number of science and technology experts in the country.
Behind it, the statistics show that only 25% of the women in the country are involved within in science and technology and in the digital space. But when we talk about, the rest, they are not even part and parcel of the technology. We need to trigger more women to become IT-oriented or to use and enjoy and harnessing the technology that is really advancing our lives, changing the way we communicate, changing the way even we teach and the like.
On the other hand, Juliet Ekisha, who is a trainer for science and technology, says there's an increase in the number of girls interested in science and technology, while she believes that by the year 2030, there will be a further increase in the number of girls in the field.
400 girls all over Tanzania, and I believe with this trend, more girls will continue showing up to trainings related to science and technology, and therefore many more girls will become impactful in the fields of science and technology.
The World Bank Country Director Nathan Balete says the issue of gender equality in the education sector is a priority for the World Bank, and the government of Tanzania remains exemplary in ensuring that equal rights for education for girls. Balete made the remarks in Arusha region during a visit to the African Institute of Science and Technology of Nelson Mandela, insisting the World Bank will continue to cooperate with Tanzania in the education sector.
For us in the World Bank, the issue of inclusion, particularly gender inclusion and opportunities, is critical. And as you saw from the recently concluded Human Capital Summit in Dar es Salaam, Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan has committed to this as a priority of her government. And from our side, we're going to do whatever we can to support that vision.
On the other hand, the Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela African Institute of Science and Technology, Omari Issa, says that the financing of education projects implemented by the World Bank, including the Higher Education for Economic Transformation project, have proved to be vital in improving technology through various researches that continue to be conducted by experts in science and technology.
From the funds provided by World Bank, Nelson Mandela is ahead in terms of implementation.
Jenga uwezo wa taasisi kwa maana ya kusomesha walimu wetu.
To build the capability of an institution and to set performance systems, purchasing of ICT tools, to improve the network and communication systems, such as the internet, and these projects are also focused on improving our learning areas and research.
Maeneo yetu ya kufundishia na kufanyia utafiti.
Today, the world marks an International Day for Global Mental Health, Education Awareness and Advocacy Against Social Stigma, with the theme Mental Health is a Universal Human Right. To understand more on the issue in the country, I spoke earlier with Dr. Saldin Kimangale, who is a psychologist from Somedics Polyclinics Health Center.
Mental health conditions globally, it's so big right now. According to WHO right now, it's about 1 billion people out of the whole world population are living with mental illnesses. And in Tanzania, approximately 7 million people are living with mental health issues. Yeah, and this is according to WHO. So in average, in Tanzania, like 7 million people. That means out of 1 billion, we contribute 7 million people living with mental health issues.
What causes mental health?
There's no one cause of mental health issues. That means there's no one cause of mental illnesses. For one to become a mental ill, the amalgamation of various problems, like we have biological, like people might have the genetic load with mental health issues, like a schizophrenia. Most of the time people are living with, inheriting schizophrenic genes from their ancestors. Okay, and the other one is a psychological predisposition, like a neglect, those parents who are neglecting their children, or having the sense of being neglected. We have the sociological factors like parenting styles and parenting problems, like to be mistreated, violences, substance use. These kind of things can expose someone to have a mental health challenges or eventually becoming a mental ill person. Self-care is very important, like exercising, eating healthy, taking care of yourself. Like you feel like you are not okay, go to the hospital. But also having a proper or a good communication skills, good problem solving skills, because most of the time we have these challenges and we are not able to solve the problem. So having good problem solving skills is very important. But also taking care of our children. If you see the statistics, 50% of people living with mental health issues, they have been living in those conditions before the age of 14. And when you see, when you go to statistics in Tanzania, according to 2022 census, 53% of Tanzanian population is people between 0 to 19. So that means we have a lot of people who are at risk in developing mental health issues. So we need to take care of our children, be available for them, build a very safe attachment with the children. This is one of the preventive measures.
Women's Union at Tumaini University Dar es Salaam College Tudako urge various stakeholders to support the efforts made by President Samia Suluhu Hassan and the government in general in promoting and visiting tourist attractions in the country. The union made the remarks while preparing for a country tour to visit various tourist attractions to promote domestic tourism. Speaking to TBC News, the chairperson of the union, Louis Metili, says women can play a critical role in promoting domestic tourism.
What we as Tudako women are trying to do is to join the effort of our dear President, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan in promoting tourism in Tanzania. And while we appreciate the efforts that the government is doing in promoting tourism to foreigners to come and visit all these attractive sites in our country, we feel like it's important for us to play our part and motivate not just women, but also other fellow Tanzanians to do domestic tourism.
On the other hand, Dr. Gertrude Ntulo says that they will use this visit to learn and increase knowledge, along with highlighting the various economic opportunities available in Tanzania through domestic tourism.
Also, a lot of opportunities for all Tanzanians, students, and especially for women in higher learning institutions. There's a lot of economic opportunities for women in higher learning institutions, and as women and as parents also, it is our opportunity to guide our students to know the opportunities that are available over there through domestic tourism.
The visit of the Women's Union from Tumaini University Dar es Salaam College will start on the 13th to the 15th October 2023 by visiting various tourist attractions in Zanzibar. Before we wind up our local news tonight, let us now have a look on today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. It's now time for the latest international news. And here's the international news as compiled by Dorothy Murray and read by Faithangaga.
Liberians have voted in presidential and parliamentary elections. 19 candidates are hoping to replace the incumbent president, George Weah, who is seeking a second term. The two main challenges are former Vice President Joseph Boakai and the businessman Alexander Cummings. Weah came to power in 2017 on a wave of popular support after two previous unsuccessful attempts. Algeria has announced it has suspended its efforts to mediate the political crisis in Niger following the coup in July. Its Foreign Affairs Ministry says in a statement that declarations from the Nigerian authorities had raised legitimate questions about their real willingness to follow through on their acceptance of Algerian mediation. It has now put the process on hold pending a commitment from the junta to continue with mediation. Last month, Niger accepted Algeria's offer to mediate in its political crisis aimed at returning the country to constitutional rule. In August, Algeria had proposed a 6-month transition period led by a civilian authority, but the head of the junta, General Abdurrahman Chiani, who seized power in July, wanted a 3-year transition period. In another development, France has begun withdrawing its troops from Niger on the orders of the junta. The spokesperson for the French chief of staff is quoted as saying the first troops have left Niger. Tensions between the two countries began in July after a coup in which the democratically elected president Mohamed Bazoum was ousted. About 1,500 French soldiers have been assisting in the fight against Islamist militants. Hamas says it won't negotiate on the hostages it has taken from Israel until the end of the battle. Israel estimates between 100 and 150 people are being held in Gaza. Israel says it's continuing to bomb the Gaza Strip after hitting 200 targets overnight. Earlier, Israel said the border with Gaza was secure 3 days after the Hamas attack.
And that were the international news. Sports news is up next. In sports, the organizers of Miss Tanzania pageant say they use the contest to market Tanzania's tourist attractions, which plays a pivotal role to the national economy. Speaking to journalists in Dar es Salaam, the organizers and stakeholders of Miss Tanzania insist that the pageant will continue to promote various Tanzanian products as well as tourism at the Miss World competition to be held in India later this year.
We'll also use this platform to represent Tanzania and advocate the beauty of Tanzania, about our tourism, about our brands, our natural resources to the world. So it's an opportunity for Tanzania to brand ourselves using the Miss World platform.
I'm also going to represent my beautiful country, Tanzania, with my introduction video, which is also explaining so much about our tourism. Welcome so much. I hope that we are all going to follow my journey as I represent Tanzania to the Miss World competition.
The Professional Boxing Commission in the country, TPBRC, has banned boxer Hassan Mwakinyo, hoping the move will serve as a lesson to other boxers to adhere to fight contracts. Speaking to TBC, the Commission's Secretary General George Lukindo says that the ban aims to make Tanzanian boxers to honor the game.
Bondia ambaye yupo juu ya commission.
There is no boxer who is above the commission. Procedure and regulation will remain to be used as a guidance for betterment of commission. We ask all boxers to respect the procedure that is in the agreement. For any boxers who behave like Mwakinyo, the commission will take action.
That's the end of sports news. And now, before we conclude the news bulletin, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello, dear viewers, welcome to the next 24 hours of the forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. My name is Margaret Masawe. Wind is expected to flow from southeast over the northern coast and from east over the southern coast with a speed of 20 kilometers per hour over the entire coast, Lake Tanganyika and Lake Nyasa, and 30 kilometers per hour over Lake Victoria. The state of the sea is expected to be slight. Hot condition is now experienced in many areas of the country, and the highest maximum temperature is expected to be 35 degrees Celsius over Katavi region. The rest are as shown on this map. And tonight we expect a partly cloudy condition and thunder showers over Kagera, Geita and Mwanza, while Mara we expect a partly cloudy condition, thunderstorms over a few areas. The rest parts of the country are expected to feature partly cloudy condition. Tomorrow we expect a partly cloudy condition and thunder showers over Lake Victoria Basin and Kigoma except Shinyanga. Kilimanjaro, Arusha, Tanga, Unguja and Pemba Ice was expected to feature partly cloudy condition, light rain showers over a few areas and sun periods. The rest parts of the country are expected to feature partly cloudy condition and a longer sun periods. Now let us see the next 4 days weather forecast for some regions of the country. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, we thank you for watching us.
That marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Kanki Mwegomole. Good night.
Kazi inaendelea kwa kasi ile ile.
mnara huu ndio unatucholea ramani ya nembo ya Tabora ambayo kwa msingi mkubwa tunatekeleza TBC1 kuja kuchora ramani ya upatikanaji wa maji.
Mwenye upendo, Samia Komando.
Nashukuru serikali ya awamu ya 6, Samia Suluhu, kwa sababu tunaona sasa hivi TUWASA wamefanya maendeleo makubwa sana. Kwa sababu maji sasa hivi yanatoka mengi na kwa wakati.
Muda wote unapohitaji maji,